Revenge is the Nuts teaches that vengeance is a dish best served crazy. Directed by Jonas McCord, written by Shel Willens, and shot by Rick Boda. Based on the story Blind Alleys from Tales from the Crypt number 46, drawn by George Evans, but takes its title from a story from the Vault of Horror number 20, drawn by Graham Ingalls. For the episode's namesake, I will be covering the Ingalls tale, and save Blind Alleys for when I creep into the Amicus films. Screams can be heard coming from inside the Croydon Insane Asylum. In the basement, a patient is being whipped incessantly. Upstairs, Dr. Blackpool, head of the asylum, is visited by Mr. Aldershot, who is investigating inhumane treatment practices, claimed in a letter from the mother of one of the patients. Blackpool holds on to the theory that insanity is caused by demon possession. Inmates must have pain inflicted upon them for any hope of being cured. Aldershot believes insanity is illness and should be treated as such. Blackpool ends the meeting. The residents of a home for the blind are forced into horrid living conditions. Feeling around, Samuel discovers that Grunwald, the manager, has walled up the bathroom again. Not taking any threats, Grunwald spills a jar of marbles onto the floor. He enjoys tormenting the blind and abusing his assistant, Benny. Sheila, newly placed in the home's care, meets with Grunwald. She is no pushover.
Oh, keep it in your pants.
I see. Angry, are we? Well, let me set you straight, Sheila. It is Sheila, isn't it? You're here under my care because the county put you here, so for at least the next 6 months, you can consider yourself one of my subjects.
Well, who the hell died made you king?
Grunwald is not shy about showing off his iron fist. Dr. Blackpool scolds a crying Thomas, the patient whipped for telling his mother what is really happening at Croydon. The pain is too much. Thomas can't walk. A guard drags him up the stone steps, throwing him back into the ward. The inmates huddle around their lash-scarred comrade. Fortney comforts Thomas, but Blackpool has other plans, swinging a punch at the old man. This is when the gigantic Olaf steps in. Protecting his friends, the giant hits Blackpool in the face. 3 guards intervene. Blackpool orders Olaf to be put in chains. Benny reveals to Sheila that Grunwald's own mother was blind. Sheila wants out of this house, but Benny can't let her go. If he disobeys Grunwald, he'll be sent back to the mental hospital. Sheila meets her housemates in the shared bedroom. It smells. She is stuck here.
What the hell is that?
Commuter train out of Atlanta.
Every hour on the hour.
Shit, I gotta get out of this place. I can't.
Now, calm down, honey. Calm down. No use biting a choke chain.
It might work for some people, but it does nothing for me.
You ain't getting out, sugar.
Escape is no use. Once the commotion has died and Blackpool leaves the room, the inmates fear Olaf will be killed. Fortney explains why that won't happen. For every inmate in the asylum, Blackpool receives a payment from the government, intended for proper care. The more inmates, the more funding for Blackpool. But the doctor pockets everything he can for himself, cutting corners on the inmates. In the dungeon, Blackpool whips the chained-up Olaf. The inmates hear the screaming. Olaf gets madder and madder, but Blackpool is careful to be out of the giant's reach. Sheila meets with Grunwald. She won't take his abuse lying down. Grunwald is okay with letting her go for a little quid pro quo. She spits in his face. Sheila tries to rile up the others, but they know their place. Offering a sliver of hope, Sheila snagged Benny's pocket knife. Jimmying their door open, Sheila leads the others. The only way out is through Grunwald's office, who happens to be waiting for them with his head of security, Bruno the dog.
Ah, Sheila. I'd like to introduce you to Bruno. He'll be handling security here from now on. It's only fair to warn you, he hasn't eaten for 2 days, and he's particularly fond of fresh meat.
The others cower back to the room. Grunwald shuts the door on Sheila. Benny installs new locks on the door. Dr. Blackpool took time to taunt Olaf every single day through the summer and fall. Winter is freezing, and Blackpool refuses to pay for adequate heating, at least for the inmates. Even after seasons of torment, Olaf is still chained up, forced by Blackpool to drink spilled water off the floor like an animal. Fortney and the others agree it is time for them to punish Blackpool. Things get worse. It's 1 meal a day now, and Sheila is left out. They ask Benny about turning the heat on.
Miss, he changed his offer. He's not gonna let you go if you sleep with him. But he said that he'd turn the heat up and bring the rations back to normal.
Sheila is going to give in to Grunwald's offer. Armelia and Samuel try to stop her. At dinner, Grunwald enjoys his time with Sheila, but she attacks when he tries kissing her.
You want to play rough? We can play rough.
Benny finally stands up to his older brother. An inmate calls the guard. Fortney is dying. The guard unlocks the door. Can you believe he fell for this old trick? The inmates jump him and steal the keys. Blackpool, in his office, is next. The doctor is dragged down the stone steps. He is brought to Olaf's cell. The inmates push Blackpool into the giant's grasp. Olaf has his fun with the evil doc. Forming a circle around the two, Fortney and the others make sure Blackpool can never escape. Grunwald wakes up in a locked room. He shouts for Benny, but only hears the sounds of hammers and saws at work. An entire day passes until the door opens. He feels around in the dark, newly built maze.
Ow, what the?
As long as he's careful, he won't get cut. The train comes and shakes the house. It'll take some time, but Grunwald is willing to play this game until he opens the door to Benny with a hungry Bruno. Benny is not afraid of his brother anymore. Neither are Sheila or Armelia. Grunwald slowly tries to run away, but Samuel has the marbles, and Osgood is at the light switch. Bruno is let loose. Lights out for Grunwald. I promised to cover blind alleys in a later video, but the episode is accurate and adds character development. Revenge is the Nuts is a similarly structured story. Inmates rebel against a corrupt caretaker. A straightforward, satisfying revenge tale. The dungeon setting and Giant's brutal payback make me wish the show chose this story instead of one that's already been adapted. Terry Polo as Sheila is a standout, defying Grunwald at every turn. Her blindness doesn't dampen her will to fight. The other tenants are more docile, having given up the battle. Subduing strong personalities like Isaac Hayes make for bleak times. Their struggle is a sympathetic one. The moment I set eyes on Grunwald, I wanted him to get his. Anthony Zerba is a contender for snootiest performance of the series. Sadly, the episode goes dark before we see Bruno tear him to shreds. Still, he got off easy. If only a razor took his eyesight first, that would have been nuts.